Here's an idea about Bitcoin that caught my eye. Here, the author shows us that right now either an ascending wedge or a bearish flag is forming on Bitcoin. But regardless of the situation, all of this contributes to a further decline. As we can see, the outcome of the ascending wedge is downward, and the outcome of the bearish flag is also downward. And now we can see that the wedge has already started to play out. We see a clear and distinct downward price movement. And now the bearish flag pattern is about to be resolved one way or the other, whether it is genuine or just a false signal. It's absolutely crucial and vital for us to hold above this dynamic line. Because if we see a candle close below it, then most likely the pattern will actually play out. And we will see a substantial and potentially rapid decline in the market price. That's why we're paying attention to the area around $73,000 and will be monitoring it closely. If we do see a fully confirmed daily candle close, then the possibility of considering any medium-term longs simply will no longer be relevant at this stage. But at the same time, you should understand that it's also not the right moment to just jump into shorts. If you do so, make sure to use stop losses. So we have Ethereum Classic, and the situation with it is quite interesting. We can see that right now it's trading within a rather narrow range, and essentially we have areas of interest both above and below. But here's an important and noteworthy point. The price is currently below the volume shelf. Now this acts as resistance for us. And in order to see upward movement now, we need to break through it, consolidate above, and from the retest, we can take a position and hold it to our targets. And here comes the next trading idea accordingly. If we break through the 8,400 level, then overall we can try to initiate a new long position with potential targets up to these resistance levels. The risk to reward ratio here averages just over 2, which is quite a solid and favorable indicator. We will partially secure our profits at the specified levels. I will talk about this in more detail in the Telegram channel. For now, we just need to watch for consolidation and breakout. Our stop will be set at 7,986. If we don't see a clear breakout and a solid consolidation above this level, then we'll have to work from the next potential scenario. For us, the most critical key support level right now is sitting exactly at 7,966. If we happen to break through it and consolidate firmly below that point, that will be a very serious signal to move further downward. If we see this specific movement happen, then we can consider, on the contrary, opening short positions with a protective stop placed just above the local maximum. This is in the case that we do not update it now. We will set it at the level of 8,412 and will hold our position toward the next levels for taking profit. Our final target will be at the price point of 6,860. The risk-reward ratio here is almost 3, which is already exceptionally favorable for us. So right now, we are essentially at a point where a significant amount of the market direction will be decided. Overall, as we can clearly see here, we are currently trading within a rather narrow range at the moment. Consequently, we really need to see some solid and reliable confirmations so that we don't get stopped out for no reason at all, as the price often tends to do in these scenarios. We can observe that previously there were several false breakouts to the upside, effectively taking out all of the short liquidity, after which the price eventually moved back down. A similar situation could happen here as well. That's why it's essential to watch for confirmations, and only then consider opening your positions. Once again, if we consolidate below the 7,966 mark, we can enter a short position on the retest and aim to hold our short positions toward lower targets, taking partial profits at the blue levels. If, on the other hand, we break through the 8,400 level and consolidate above it, then we can enter long positions on the retest and also hold our position with partial profit taking. We haven't had a Bitcoin review for a whole week, so let's update the situation right now. I want to point out that we are currently at the support level that I marked in the previous video. This is the 73,400 level. And essentially, the breakout for Bitcoin will be decided very soon. We are seeing reduced volatility, which indicates uncertainty about which direction we will go. And here, of course, we need to keep watching. The very first thing that I would like to point out to you right now is probably this specific range, on which everything else is going to depend in the near future. Accordingly, if we manage to break through the top and consolidate above it, then we can certainly say that there is a much higher probability that we will continue moving upward, to reach the next resistance level at 76,335. If we fail to see this specific price action and instead break decisively to the downside with consolidation, then we can start working from the potential short side and enter on a retest toward our next significant area of support. Why is 78,832 a strong level? I explained this in the previous video as well. We have a volume shelf here, which currently serves as support for us, and we also have a strong mirror level that we've approached more than once. We've seen bounces from it, and we've also seen, on the contrary, rejections from it. That's why there will definitely be some kind of price reaction here. It is exactly at this point that we will be looking for a specific type of confirmation. Right now, it's important to simply observe the market and not jump into the coin just for the sake of being in it. Please trade with extreme caution and always enter only with a stop loss. Don't make up anything unnecessary. And pay attention to the liquidation heat map. Right now, we have quite a large cascade of liquidity, both above the local highs at 74,500 and below the local lows at 72,353. What does this mean? It means that a significant number of individual traders are currently entering shorts and longs very locally, with their stop losses set precisely at these specific levels. Accordingly, at this particular moment in time, we simply need to wait patiently and see exactly where the price goes, because it's quite likely that it will make false breakouts as follows. We move up, fail to consolidate above, trigger the stop losses of those who entered shorts, and then begin a sharp descent toward lower price levels, and, accordingly, we trigger the stop losses of those who entered longs. Or the exact opposite scenario could also play out in the market. But the point here is clear. The range is small, and nothing is stopping us from taking out the stop losses of both short sellers and long buyers. So please, right now, don't set your stop losses too close. You can clearly see what the potential consequences of that might be. However, if we do see a consolidation above any of these zones, that will clearly demonstrate and indicate the underlying momentum and strength of either the buyers or the sellers. But as long as that's not the case, it's best, of course, to protect your deposit, your money, and not jump in without a reason. It is only after we receive confirmation in the form of price consolidation that we can consider entering a position here. Overall, I think everything is clear here. If we consolidate above, we move up. If we consolidate below, you can enter shorts and work this position as well. We can roughly calculate what our RR will be here. And let's do that ourselves right now. Let's set a long position right at this specific price point. We'll place the stop in a corresponding manner below the minimum and set the take profit at the closest significant resistance level at 76,335. The risk to reward ratio is approximately 1 to 6, which is actually considered a very standard and secure value for Bitcoin. But of course, nothing stops us from aiming higher. In this case, though, we'll be taking profits in parts. I think you already understand what I'm talking about. If we don't see a decisive breakout upwards, then we can consider entering into short selling positions. Again, the stop will remain valid and relevant as long as we don't update the upper and lower boundaries of this range. If we do update them, then the stop losses will need to be carefully shifted slightly. And in this case, you can move your position toward the next support levels, which will be positioned approximately as follows. The initial first and strongest level is at 78,832, and after that, you can set your sights on this substantial volume shelf area, and here you can lock in the remaining part. In either case, the risk-reward ratio is actually quite favorable, especially for Bitcoin, so you can definitely give it a try. Again, I'll be posting all detailed updates and news about Bitcoin and other coins in my Telegram channel, because it's just not possible to record video reviews all the time. That's where you'll find all the latest information. Now, I suggest we update the situation on the previous coins we discussed. And the first thing we entered was LINK. There was a breakdown on the 4-hour chart at the level of 9,369. And from there, we entered short positions together. Our position was triggered, we entered, and already reached the first take profit at the level of 9,048. All subsequent take profits are essentially still valid, and we continue to hold this position, just with a slight profit now. As for the MANTA position, we ended up with a stop loss. I wasn't able to record a video review, but what was the main point? When I was recording the review, we basically had two highs that hadn't been taken out yet, here and here. After that, we came back again but didn't update the high, so now we have three clearly visible consecutive highs. After that, we came back there again and still didn't update the high. Accordingly, many people were placing their stop losses right at this level when they entered short positions. And at that point, that stop was no longer relevant for us, even despite this break. And even then, you can't really call it a good one, because right after the break we immediately moved further up. And essentially what we are seeing here is just a liquidity sweep or a false breakout. So, for those of you who don't want to get caught in difficult situations like this, I would highly recommend that you go through the detailed training I showed you earlier so that you can begin to make your own informed trading decisions. In this specific case, the situation was actually quite obvious, but for a very simple reason, I wasn't able to tell you about it at the time. But overall, it's really nothing particularly serious to worry about. We lost 1% of the deposit. This all fits within our risk management, and overall, everything is fine. I hope everything was clear and useful today. Write in the comments which coins you would like me to analyze next time, and we will definitely do it. I wish you all profits, and goodbye.